Hey everybody, what's up? And welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be tanning squirrel hides. As you can tell right here, we got the hides. We got the hides here, 2 knives, and a box of nails. So the first thing you're gonna want to do, I did this off camera. You're gonna want to take the hides. This doesn't matter if it's fresh. If it's a fresh kill or you just took it out of the freezer, you're going to want to take the hides and tack them down to a board and make sure they're nice and stretched out. So the first part of tanning a hide is flushing it, and flushing it is basically where you're going to take off all the membrane and extra skin with your knife until it's just that white. See, we have some white right here. That is what you're looking for. So just keep flushing it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but generally try and get the whole thing fleshed. This is a big part because one time I didn't flesh it, and then the bugs will go and try and eat away all that extra skin and meat and membrane. So yeah, just keep trying to get all that excess skin off there. And yeah, that's easily the first step. Okay. Easily the first step. See you guys when that's the process. Alright guys, so now you can tell that the hide is much better. It's fleshed. It's not perfect, as you can tell, but we are going to flesh it more later on. And next step is salt. Salt is one of the most important parts to preserving your hide. Doesn't really matter the salt, but don't be deliberate with this stuff. Just put it on as much as you can. Make sure to get into all the little cracks and crevices of this thing, and yeah. Just apply throughout the whole hide. The good thing is salt's cheap, so. On the arms, you just kind of gotta figure it out. Just get as much salt as you can on those. This is the easiest and cheapest way to tan hides. Yep, just make sure those arms have some salt on there, and yeah, just like that. That is covered in salt. Open this down here. Oh, you guys can't even see that. Now we have this next hide. It's not super fleshed, but it's good enough because this is at the back end right here. This is its tail, and actually, you know, there is a little piece I want to flesh more off of this that I didn't see. If I can find the razor blade. Where'd the razor blade go? Put this bit under here. I don't know where the razor blade went. See you guys in a second. Alright guys, so sorry about the goats and the chickens that you hear in the background, but it has been 5 days, and we are ready to uncover the squirrel. So I had some bricks holding it down. There are some rocks. Set these right here, and I'm gonna take this off. And here are the hides. Looking pretty good. As you can tell, they have the salt starting to crack a bit, but we're going to, sorry about the goats, but we're going to scrape all the salt off of these hides with a dull knife, and yeah, so I'm going to start scraping the salt off. Just be careful during this process because the hide is pretty thin. You do not want to rip it or cause any external damage to the hide. Yep, you don't have to be super careful, just keep in mind being too rough could mess up this whole long process that you've been through. I waited about 6 days. You could wait, if you have enough salt on it, you could wait up to a few years. Does not really matter too much. So I'm just going to dump the rest of the salt off. We had a towel covering it, as you could probably notice. The rooster, sorry about that. But, and the hide is pretty nice. It's super dry. And this is my first time using the salt on the hides. So, yep. And then from the last part, you guys know what flushing is. So right now we're going to get any further flushing done that we need. Okay, guys. So we got much further along in the flushing process, as you can tell. Just a few little bits that we can finish scraping off. But basically you want to get rid of any funky discoloring or anything like that. And now we're going to take out the nails by hand if we can, because at the moment I do not know where a hammer is. So just try and get these things out by hand. But you guys want to see the good stuff, so I'll show you one. So here is the hide. As you can tell, it looks pretty dang good. I need a little bit more flushing with a sharper knife, but I think the rest we can just buff up with sandpaper. So yeah, it's really nice. Now we're going to buff it up with some sandpaper. I'm just going to let this focus. But there we go. Now we have the hide. We're going to be roughing it up with some sandpaper. Getting all the extra membrane and stuff on there. This step is optional. You don't have to do this, but I would recommend it for the best quality hides. Try not to go too thin on some spots because you don't want to tear through and accidentally get into where the hair is. So let's keep grinding through all this and fluffing it up. And just knock that off. You'll see some other stuff come off of this. Sorry about the background noise. Living with ghosts and chickens sounds a little crazy sometimes. Yep. We're just gonna keep rubbing around the base, the arms. Arms did much better than I thought. They're nice and dry and baggy, which is good. If the whole thing's dry, then just want to let you know you did this 100% right. If it's not dry, I recommend putting it back in the salt for another couple days. And do it with more salt this time. Anyways, just keep rubbing. This is a good step because it gets your hide to the maximum quality and gets it super smooth. Yeah, you can already just tell how nice. And if you guys are wondering, this is P180 grit, which is pretty fine. It's a pretty fine grit, but it's working great for this. And it's getting super smooth. This is my first ever time tanning a hide correctly. There's been a few times where I've messed up and just had to throw the hides out, but this time is coming along pretty nicely. I'm also kind of releasing a squirrel hunting video pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm doing you could call it a squirrel removal job. Yeah. You can tell that there's some spots you need to get more than others. The spots with more creases in them and lines and thicker membrane. Doesn't have to be perfect, but gotta keep going. This is the full process video, so showing you every step along the way. Just get it to where you feel comfortable with it. It's optional. You don't even have to do this, but I'm gonna try and get the best quality hide I can. Fold it up again. And you guys feel free to let me know if you guys have any tips in the comment section on how to do this better, anything I messed up on, anything I could work on. But yeah, I'm going to keep roughing it up over here a little bit more. I feel like it's not as good over here. It's a long process, I'm not going to lie. You have to be patient when hunting anything and when doing most things. Here, how crackly it is. I'm going to fix that later on. But yeah, it's super smooth right now. And now we're going to... Okay guys, so now we're going to move on to the real tanning process. This is where, so far, I've just been flushing up until this point in the video. But now we're going to tan. As you know, this is going to be an egg tanning method. So these eggs are fresh from the chicken coop. That's why they have a little bit of chicken poop on them. But yeah, just want to crack your egg. Let any extra egg, just get rid of all the egg whites, and you only want to keep the egg yolks. Essentially, is what you're doing. So you just toss this thing back and forth like so. I'm sure it would be fine with the egg yolks, but or with the egg whites, but it's better without it. The egg yolk is the thing that has all the minerals and stuff that it needs to tan the hides. Got an owl fight going on in the woods, it sounds like. Yeah, the owls have been ridiculously bad lately. We've had a crap ton of them. Get rid of that. And yeah, there is one egg. That's one yolk. And now we're going to start tanning. It's a pretty simple process. But now we're going to put the hide down. Just take some of your egg yolk, just drizzle that on there, just a little bit, start mixing it around like so. Now, this is the part where you gotta get your hands in, but just absolutely rub this hide. Doesn't matter if you get it on the fur, you're going to in the end. But yep, just keep working it in the best you can. Get it over the entire surface of the hide. That's the most important part of this. If you get it over the whole surface. Get all the edges. Don't be a baby about it. Get your hands dirty. Get these arms. Get your hands in there. Get all the corners, alright? Cracks and crevices. You've heard that saying before, I bet you. Gotta get all of them. And that's serious this time. Whatever you don't get with the egg is going to be not tanned and is going to just gonna probably rot eventually. Just gonna work this thing in. If there's any pieces of egg white, you're just gonna want to try and get rid of that. So yeah, just apply the egg yolk and start rubbing it in. I really hope I don't mess this up somehow. But yeah, exactly what it's supposed to look like. No, I'm not gonna mess it up. I've practiced this a lot before, seen people do it, and I know how to. Alright, grab a little bit more of this stuff for the arms. One tip is I should have mixed it up a little bit more before I started applying it. Should have whipped up the egg yolks a little bit better, but it's fine. And it's going to start getting really sticky, and that is when you're going to start stretching. So you're going to start taking the hide and just pulling it really hard. But actually, you know what? Before we're going to start stretching, you're going to add some more egg yolk. And you're going to start, get all nice and wet. And we're just going to put the rest of this egg yolk in here. Alright? Get all nice and wet. Start rubbing it all over the whole hide. And to get the best results, curl up into a little ball and just squeeze it for a minute there. trust me, the outcome is good. Just keep squeezing into a nice little ball. Try to make sure you don't have anything on your hands. But yep, just keep squeezing. And that's how you get it applied nice and everywhere, all over the hide. It probably will stain the white parts of your hide if you're killing gray squirrels or a hyper rare albino squirrel, which you probably won't be, but yep, unravel your hide, pull it out, and it should look something like this. Yep, and you can tell that it's not quite there yet. Just put it back into the ball, and then squeeze. Okay, now this is good so far. Yeah, this is looking really good. Alright, see how it's... Oh, car's starting up. But this is where you're going to start stretching the hide. This is not an easy process, stretching. You basically grab the hide and pull until it gets these white spots. And, yeah. That's what you want to do. Someone's leaving and going somewhere. Doesn't have to be perfect, and it is harder than it looks. A lot harder. Whatever holes you have, it's probably going to make them bigger, but it's also going to make the rest of the hide bigger, so don't worry about that. And yeah, just keep stretching it, and I'll see you when the stretching part's done. Okay guys, so I kept working the hide until it was dry again, and it's pretty dry now. You can tell we got this bits egg yolk on here, so we're just going to take a nice dull knife that you're going to use to scrape all these unwanted bits of egg yolk out of here. Don't spend hours and hours trying to get the rest of the egg yolk out of here, because most of the egg yolk is worked into the hide. When you got some on your knife, just wipe it off. We don't want any excess egg yolk on here, because it'll just end up rotting later on. And that's not what we want. I'm going to use 2 eggs. You guys could use probably up to 4. 4 is a lot. 4 is probably the maximum. You need 2 for a rabbit. You need 2 for a squirrel. You could get away with 1 for a squirrel probably, but you just got to keep playing with this thing, alright? You just got to keep working it and moving it, and you got to stretch it while it's wet. And until it's dry, then you're going to do another egg. And you got to keep stretching that one until it's dry. After that, you are going to let it sit until the next day. Alright, so now we're going to crack another egg yolk for this hide. And yeah, see you guys when guys, so we came inside, and now we have the hide, and we're going to be doing a little bit of trimming on the outside before we get this guy washed. So we'll be really careful while trimming. This is a razor blade and it's ridiculously sharp, so that's all we could ask for. See you guys when that part's done. Okay guys, so we just finished the squirrel hide, and just gonna give you guys a quick rundown of what we did. We ended up tweaking it a little bit. We did some more trimming off camera, and we also washed it, and trimming made it quite a bit smaller, but it's just a nice front piece of the hide. It's not even the whole hide. It is a nice piece of hide. All the hair is really in there. It's only gonna come out if you really pull, but yeah, it's a super nice hide. You can tell what a good fleshing job there was, because you can, I don't know about on camera, but you can definitely see through it, so just make sure you flesh it good. And yeah, we're gonna be doing some full squirrel hides once I do a squirrel removal job, or once I go squirrel hunting at my aunt's house. But yeah, overall it came out really good. You guys didn't need to see the washing part because it basically, we just washed it like we would with anything. Just wash it like you would with your hair, and just basically scrub it with a body wash or shampoo. Either one's fine, does not matter. And the next thing we did was let it dry, and we fluffed up the hair with a blow dryer. Yeah, or the hair dryer, blow dryer. And yeah, here's the final result. And then, say your hide, you know, when it gets really stiff and crackly and it kind of feels like thin cardboard. Well, at that point, that's just what I did. You can tell by the coloration. I put some salt on it, or salt. I put oil on it. You can use any kitchen oil. Any kitchen oil works great. I use like Calaban oil, I think it's called. But any kitchen oil, olive oil, anything like that will work. And it just gives it a softer feel. And then you can take it on a surface that's like angled like this, on a 90-degree angle, and you can just rub it back and forth like this to try and make it feel more like leather. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it on this technique on how the full process of how to tan a squirrel hide. Hope you guys enjoyed, and leave a thumbs up and go down there. And while you're at it, might as well subscribe. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one.